Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and this is another review for the Real Housewives of Miami season 6, episode 4, and this is called Slam Dunks and Friendship Flunks. So this episode is pretty self-explanatory. What I will say is this episode did not give as much as the other episodes. This was definitely more of a filler episode in my opinion, but we're still good. We're still getting there. And Real Housewives of Miami is still that girl. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first couple of scenes or little mini scenes just kind of just highlighting little mini montage, if you will. And that's one thing I do like about the Real Housewives of Miami. They tend to do that a lot, where they'll show a whole bunch of the ladies doing like their day-to-day before they get into their first scene. So we start with Lisa with her kids at the grocery store, and then we see Alexia with her kids, Frankie and Peter, grown kids. And then we see Larsa FaceTiming Adriana, inviting her to the Make-A-Wish charity basketball event that her and Marcus are putting together. But the real scene that really started the episode was Dr. Nicole and Anthony. They're doing a date night. And the date night, they introduced this guy named King Cameron. He's a professional basketball player. I don't know who he is. And I do watch the NBA, but I'm kind of a casual fan when it comes to the NBA. So unless you're the big names or you're part of some of the major teams, I don't really know the other players in the NBA. I'll just say that. I follow most of the teams that I follow are the Chicago Bulls, the Milwaukee Bucks, because they're right there. And also too, I kind of am one of those fans that the Bulls are never going to do anything. So I guess I'll cheer for the Bucks because their franchise is setting them up for success. And our owners suck. But that's Chicago sports for you. Most of our owners are not that great at doing their thing. So we don't really win. Which that tells you I'm pretty much a fair weather fan. But anyway, in preparation for the event, they decide to have him coach them and give them pointers on playing basketball. So they're playing a little game of basketball together. First they start with the ball handling of it all. And Anthony kept joking about how great Dr. Nicole is at handling balls. It was cute. It actually looked like a really super fun date night that they had, because they were being kind of, romantic about it. It was a cute scene. And then so the coach leaves, and then Anthony and Dr. Nicole talk more about the event. And Dr. Nicole mentions that Larsa is going to have them come to the event earlier. The girls are going to meet up and they're going to show up on a Sprinter van, which basically means disaster. Anyone who is familiar with any Real Housewives lore, a Sprinter van equals there's going to be an argument or some conflict of some sort is going to happen. It's kind of like an unwritten Real Housewives rule. And so it was funny because because Dr. Nicole basically kind of said that in her confessional. Next though, they're talking about baby number 2 and then them getting married. So they're both pretty much on the same page, and they decide they really want to have the baby first because this is going to be their second child together. And she's in her mid-30s, and so she's like, hey, I'm not getting any younger, so let's go ahead and do that first, and then we'll do the wedding. And then that way both the kids can actually participate in the wedding. So that's kind of where that's what their headspace is at, which we kind of already knew that. So yeah, that's pretty much how the scene concluded. It was a cute scene. So the next scene, we have Julia showing up at Adriana's house, because the previous episode, we know that Julia is practicing opera for this event that she's putting together. And Adriana, in the cut scene, they show that that's how Julia's been practicing. She's going to Adriana's, and Adriana's just been playing the piano for the song, and then she's been doing it herself, besides going to the opera singing lessons. So we find out, though, that Julia is struggling to get the location figured out for this event. And the event is an F Cancer event originally it was for Martina, but it's kind of now for Gertie too. You know, life happens. And so Adriana suggests just having it at her place. Like, we can just have it here. Like, and she just shows her around. And so they decide they're going to have it at her place, so that pretty much resolves the whole location conflict, right? Yeah. So she does state she's honored to host the event, but she is reluctant to invite Marisol because we know Marisol and her do not see it for each other. And yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But she's hopeful and thinking, okay, well, maybe this event, the event, they should be able to put their differences aside since it is a cancer event. But we'll see how that goes. And I'm saying this because later is telling based off of what's happening now. So then Jonathan, who's an actual opera singer, does show up to kind of help Julia along. And we find out that they're going to be doing the song together. So he's going to be the guy part while she's going to be the woman part of the song. Because it's like it starts with the guy doing it and then the girl does it. So, but he's the actual opera singer because he started doing it. He got right to work. And I was like, oh. And that look I just gave you, that was what Julia was looking like afterwards. Because she's like, I got to go after that. Because we know Julia's, she's trying, but she's trying. So Julie was terrified, and the guy even noticed. He's like, okay, I know you're terrified, but just stay loose and just do your best. And she did, and she actually sounded better. Still wasn't great, but it was better. Okay, so next we have a short scene as Alexia with her two boys. And I hate them saying her two sons, her two grown men sons. And they're there for Frankie's oxygen treatment. Apparently, ever since Frankie has gotten Alexia has gotten Frankie involved in trying to really make him more independent as an adult with a disability, they discovered this option where it's called like oxygen therapy to kind of help basically wake up the brain again. And so, and it's apparently it's this experimental therapy. So they don't know how this is going to go, but I guess they're seeing it like, hey, it's better than nothing. And it seems like it is working because I can tell that Frankie is way more vocal this season than he was last season. So it seems like it really, really is working. But also maybe it might be 1A and 1B because now that he is working on being more independent, he has more confidence, so there he's speaking up more. But it also could be two things that are happening here. But anyway, so that's what's happening there. And then Alexius basically just states like this changed her whole life, which I don't want to sound insensitive, but I've like this has been kind of this has been a thing, like a known thing for those who are familiar with the Real Housewives of Miami and Alexia's story. It's a known story, so it's not a new story. So I'm not trying to brush over it as if like I don't care. It's more or less though, we know because of what happened with her son, it was a life-changing event. And I do feel for her because that's really, really bad. Because they show pictures of how he was before. And what happened to Frankie is he got in a really, really bad car accident with Peter, the younger son. I think he is the younger son. I don't remember who's older, who's younger. But it's only it's not even by 2 years. It's by 2 years at most. So they're like really close in age. And prior to the accident, Frankie was like a normal kid. He was actually way advanced for his age. Like stronger, an athlete, articulate, all of that. And the car accident almost killed Frankie and it gave him permanent brain damage. So now he kind of has similar behavior of someone who has, that's on the spectrum. He comes off that way, but I don't know what his actual brain condition is. And I don't think they've ever shared what it is. I don't know if Alexia or them ever shared what it is, but the point is he used to be completely different than what he is today because of that car accident. And the car accident was one that Peter was involved in. And so that kind of caused our whole family to spiral, especially Peter. But as much as I want to have grace for Peter, historically, he has done things that has not been so nice. So it's hard for me to give him grace when he's done some really, really, really mean things to people that for no reason, for one way or the other. So that's kind of why I'm a little hesitant. I'm kind of tap dancing around that, but that's pretty much what happened with this scene though. Child, so this next scene, and I'm giving this look because as much as I like Lisa for the most part, she's annoying me. She is annoying. She's annoying. I don't hate her, but she's super annoying. And so Lisa and her kids go to Jody's. And so we found out that the kids are very much aware of who Jody is as far as like he is in Lisa's life. But that's it. They call him Uncle Jody because she calls him Uncle. She basically introduced Jody as if like he's the uncle. And so these shady producers, they were on it this episode. So they had Uncle Jody, Lisa's friend. They also had Lisa's gay friend, because Lisa just kept saying that, yeah, maybe the kids think he's gay. I don't know, because I have a lot of gay guy friends, this, that, and this, and the reason why I'm just kind of annoyed by this whole situation is if you're not sure about introducing him as your actual boyfriend to your kids, maybe you shouldn't introduce him to your kids yet. That would solve the problem. And then right away, she goes over there and starts talking about, guess what? Lenny and the divorce. It's like, Lisa, I'm going to need you to get a therapist, and I'm going to need you to stop being so dependent. You are very dependent. How do you go from one super dependent situation and then become immediately dependent on another guy? That is one thing, and anyone who knows me knows I cannot stand. I cannot stand overly dependentness. Like, it drives me nuts. And so it's crazy that she's doing all that. And so it just doesn't translate well on TV. And I get that she's been put in a horrible spot because Lenny, her ex-husband, was such a tool. And the way he treated her on the show, like, it was bad. It was really, really bad. But like, I'm just going to need her to get some therapy and stop relying on this man as her therapy. This man's not your therapist. This man ain't your brother, because the way you introduce him to your kids, you're saying he's an uncle, and he ain't your gay friend. He's your man. He's supposed to be your boyfriend. I'm just so confused. But that's my thought on that scene. Yeah. All right, so now we're at the mess. I mean, the charity event. We're getting ready for the charity event, aka the mess. And I'm sorry, no offense. Well, actually, all the offense, because y'all know I don't like Larsa. If Larsa's involved in an event, there's going to be some mess happening. Even though this time she really had nothing to do with it, for the most part. So basically, the ladies, along with Marcus, enter the Sprinter van to get ready for the event. Larsa's discussing the teams because they're going to have two teams. Because not all the ladies can be on one team, so they're just going to do, 4 of the ladies on one team, 4 of the ladies on another team. And whoever wins, make some money for the charity. And I think I keep mentioning the charity, but for those who didn't see my review, my last review, the charity is for Make-A-Wish Foundation, and it's a basketball celebrity charity event. So they're not going to be the only ones playing. It's going to be a whole bunch of other celebrities and influencers in like the Miami area. So I think I should have prefaced that, and you'll understand why I preface it later. So yeah, so the rest of the ladies do show up, minus Julia, but it does include Gertie and then her husband Russell, but like Julia and the rest of the partners that the women are involved with are actually going to meet them at the arena. And all the ladies who were told about the cancer are not going to mention it to her. They stated they're not going to mention anything about it to her on the limo ride, because yeah, they don't want to do that. So they're not going to mention it to her on the limo ride just because it's supposed to be a positive event, so they're not going to mention it. But and then while they're all panning over to the women in their different respectable confessionals saying that they're not going to say anything, they have like Larsa told her, finding out through Larsa, and then when they pan back over to Larsa basically told everybody. I was like, producers, when y'all right, you're right. Y'all are on it, and y'all also staying on Larsa's neck for me, because the way she did all that was rude as f. It was rude. It was rude AF. It was rude AF. It was just not it. So basically, they're on the bus, and since all of them are on the bus, Adriana does say like, "Hey, I'm having some digestive issues," aka she was gassy, so forgive me. And the women are like kind of turning their noses like, oh my gosh, ill. And so about 9 minutes in to going to the arena, because the arena is about an hour away apparently, they have to stop and use the restroom, which is good because that means Adriana can handle the things that she needs to handle. And so Marisol's talking to Alexia to let her know, like, hey, because Alexia didn't hear what she said, and she's like, hey, just to let you know, we might be smelling some things on the bus because, you know, Adriana's gassy. And that's all she really said. And Adriana put 20 on 10 and made it like, why are you, like, we're supposed to be like starting new and you're talking crap about me. And they're arguing about gas. Like flagellants gas, not... So then the argument pops off over this whole thing, which is kind of ridiculous, but it's because Adriana was doing too much yet again. As much as I like Adriana, she gets on my nerves at the same time. And this is a case of her getting on my nerves. And so Kiki states in her confessional, she's like, I can't stand people who pass gas in public. That's just so not classy. And then the shady producers literally pan over to her last season peeing in the sand of the beach, like while they were on vacation in public. So it was actually quite comical because it's like it was basically the producer saying, not too much, Fran. And the producers this season, I like y'all killing it. So then next, they're still kind of doing this back and forth, and then it goes from like, so after like Adriana and Marisol are arguing about the gas, somehow, and then Lisa's in her confessional like, y'all do realize stress causes more gas, right? So like this argument is not helping things. It's going to make it worse. And she's saying that in her confessional, and it was quite funny. And then somehow, some way, Alexia like mentions like, hey, she showed like these two toilets, they're facing next to each other, like one is facing this way and the other one's facing this way and they're next to each other. And she says she sent that to Larsa because of her separation anxiety issues with like being away from Marcus, kind of like as a joke. And then it goes from that to like Alexia saying like, yeah, like I poop and pee in front of like Todd, whatever, it's not a big deal. And then all of them are just like, ew, like, yeah, we do that together. That's what we like to do together. And so they're all just like, so the argument stops because they're just all looking at like Alexia like, wait, what? That's which I kind of agree because no, I'm sorry. It's fecal matter. That's gross. It's bacteria. That's gross. No. No. Anyway, so they go from that to Alexia then stating why Todd did not show up for their event. And she's just dying on this hill that the reason why is because of Adriana. And so she literally says this is for Adriana. So guess what? The argument resumes starting now. And yeah. By the way, I don't think I mentioned this before the start of this thing. This is also Alexia's birthday. So Alexia is being bro Alexia. Like entitled, annoying Alexia. Which was kind of ironic because the last season when it was a Sprinter Band scene, it was also Alexia's birthday that time too. Interesting. Anyway, so they're going back and forth and Adriana's like, wait a minute. That can't be the reason because I literally ran into Todd. So, you know, Adriana restates what she said, like to the other ladies, to Julia and Gertie and not really Lisa, because Lisa was not there, but she's like, hey, no, that's not what happened. Like, I literally talked to Todd and he mentioned the reason why, you know, it had nothing to do with me. It's because, you know, y'all relationship ain't really as great as you think it is. And she said that, but in front of the whole group. As a counter, which I kind of understood why, because at this point now, she's defending herself, because she went from... So, let me state this. It went from Adriana being wrong for doing too much with Marisol, to now Alexia's attacking her. And Adriana didn't really send for her, so it didn't make sense. It's like, it kind of became chaotic and kind of annoying. But so anyway, Adriana counters that, and then Alexia's like, no, that's not true. But then Lisa chimes in, she's like, no, I was there with Adriana, and that is true. That's how that happened. And so then all of a sudden Alexia's on mute challenge, like everybody on mute, and like had nothing to say about that because Lisa backed what Adriana said. And Lisa in her confessional's like, well, yeah, one person's full of gas and one person's full of the stuff. Not that word, the other word. And yeah, so then they go from that to then all of a sudden Adriana and Marisol are arguing again. And then after Adriana and Marisol are arguing again, then Alexia goes back into it and states because Kiki told Alexia what Adriana said about how Alexia is acting different ever since she's gotten with Todd, because Todd, you know, is well off and is just kind of, you know how I said that, and this is episode 1 where this happened. On the way to the party, she was talking all that crap. Well, it's biting her in the butt because Kiki told, you know, Alexia about it. So Alexia's like, why are you talking crap about me on the way to my party then? Like, what is your problem? So at that point, we understand the real reason why Alexia is getting at Adriana, because she kind of has a right to, because you literally were talking crap about me on the way to my party after we're supposed to be cool. Valid, right? So then after that, all this is happening. Lisa, Larsa, and Kiki are just like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Then Marcus' expression the whole entire time is just priceless, because he's just like, the whole time all this is happening. And I was cracking up. I was like, oh my gosh. He didn't know he was getting himself into with this show. So then they finally get to the arena, and Alexia and Marisol are being mean girls and still just like tag teaming and like attacking Adriana, which is true. They were being mean, but Adriana kind of did this to herself, because Adriana just does not know how to do less. She is always team too much, and she'll go forward with someone and then 2 steps back, like she just, and then like goes to victim mode. So it's hard for me to be on her side all the way, because she be having valid points, but her tone and delivery and like her tone and delivery is always off, and then also like time and place is always off. Like, she does not know how to read the room. Adriana and reading the room, they don't go together. Like, she does not know how to do it. It's missed. That whole entire point is missing. So then Lisa and Nicole, and they're in the locker room right now in the arena, and they're trying to be the voice of reason. They're like, hey, let's stop this. Like, we're here for a charity event. This is really petty and stupid what you guys are arguing about. And this all started over gas, mind you. So it really is dumb, considering the fact that like they're doing a fundraiser for children that are terminally ill. Yeah, it's silly, right? Yeah. So then Julia and Martina do appear, and they're just like, hey. So Julia missed the whole thing. Lucky her. She missed the whole thing. But then Adriana's like on the corner, kind of being isolated, like kind of isolating herself. And Julia, so she's basically explaining to like Julia, like this was like a whole entire ish show. It was just bad. And then, so then Adriana, Julia, and Gertie, they all go and talk to each other, Gurney. And they talk to each other. And Adriana goes from like, I feel just like attacked and worn out, to like, you know what, I'm not inviting them to my, like, she protests that she does not want Alexia and Marisol at the F Cancer event that Julia is putting together. Because technically Julia's event, she's just hosting it at Adriana's place. But now Adriana's now putting her foot down. She's like, I don't want them there. I don't care. I get that it's supposed to be for cancer, and we're supposed to be past that. And Gertie feels a certain way, especially because she's just like, you're going to uninvite them over this? Because, you know, as you know, she has cancer. She's like, what are you doing? That is the most irrational thing ever. So you can tell Gertie's patience is like not there. She's getting really irritated. And so she's like, yo, can we table this till after this event? Like, why are we talking about this when we're literally at a Make-A-Wish event now? And you don't want to invite them just because you don't get along with them, when it's not about that. It's a charity. Yeah. So basically, they finally do get to the court, and they're doing practice shooting. None of these ladies can play basketball. They're horrible. All of them. They all are horrible at playing basketball. And so they're all finally playing basketball, and the partners are all looking on. Julia is the only one that scored a point or 2 points, so she made 1 basket. And so then after that, then they go to then they go back to Julia talking to Adriana on the beach, on the bench, because mind you, the game started. The charity game started. And Julia's still trying to like reason with Adriana. Is like, this is bigger than a like versus a dislike. Like, this is about cancer. Cancer is one of those things where like no one likes it. Put your differences aside and let's do this event. And it's really supposed to be for Martina anyway. It's not even supposed to be for anyone but Martina. And Martina doesn't have a problem with any of these ladies. So Martina doesn't even know that this event is happening. So what are we doing here? And we find out the ladies did not play much in this event at all. They made one basket, as I mentioned, the one that Julia made. They got 3 injuries. And I mean, they got injured. Like, Adriana fell, Marisol fell. Marisol, we know she's like a bag. She is so tiny, so she fell like right on like her arm. And then Kiki fell, and Kiki's ankle was swelled up. So yeah, 3 injuries, and then they all 8 of them played for a total of 5 minutes. I was like, oh my gosh, if you don't get out of here with this. But anyway, they did end up raising roughly $40,000 is what Larsa said. So the event was a success as far as the cause. So now they are back in the locker room and with their partners, and they're basically celebrating Alexia's birthday. So then Todd comes in with the kids. And Todd does end up, so they get this nice birthday cake and they're singing happy birthday. And then Adriana's on the side pouting. She went to the restroom. She's like, I don't want to sing happy birthday to her. She's so mean to me. She's so cruel, this, that, and this, and what bothers me about Adriana is she is totally ignoring the fact that you literally talked crap about her. You talked crap about her. You were mean to her. You did the same thing. You just like to preface it in the fact that like, you always play the I don't know card what I'm doing. Or you do this whole thing where you're doing the most and then you expect them to have grace for you, but you don't have the same grace. And so then she's shading her the whole entire time during this birthday thing. And then Todd does present a gift. And I forgot to mention, during the argument, Alexia, to rub it in Adriana's face, mentions like, yeah, my man's giving me a good gift and I know what it's going to be and it's great and he's going to give me this gift and it's going to be worth a lot of money. And Alexia did that because of what Kiki said, what Adriana said, which Kiki didn't lie. She literally told everything that what she said. So basically, Alexia did it to be petty. She would have never done that if Adriana wasn't talking crap behind her back. But Adriana's seeing it away. She's like, yes, see, she's changed. Like bragging about all the money they have, but just ignoring the fact that her and her man got marital problems, this, that, and this, and that. And it's just giving, you are an angry, miserable person. It's giving that. And I don't know, and Adriana, like, that's not a good look. It really isn't. So we ended so then after that, then Todd does give her this watch, and the watch is valued at $78,000. I'm like, side note. So when I saw the watch though, I don't know if that watch, I feel like this is a rental. I feel like I don't know. I'm just not so sure about that watch being that price or her being able to keep that watch. I'm a little bit not sure about it. And the reason why I'll say this, because Adriana does have a little bit of a point, but she's coming off as a hater. And if she knew how to articulate her words better, maybe it wouldn't sound like how it comes out. Because she was talking to Dr. Nicole's husband or fiance, Anthony, she's like, I like how y'all do it. She's like, I like how y'all have silent luxury. Which I agree. I do like Dr. Nicole and Anthony's energy a lot more. Because they do got all the coins, but they're silent with it. Every once in a while they flash it, but it's not always flashy. And from Adriana's point of view, she feels like Alexia just flashes. But typically, if you got the coins, you ain't got to flash it. Typically. And speaking from experience a little bit, like, one of the guys I dated in the past, I had no idea he had money. I did not know. And I found out after the fact, like, oh. But he wasn't flashy with it. And that's usually how most people who really got the coins, that's how they give it up. There's no need to be flashy. So, yeah. So that's why I'm kind of towards the end, when the watch was given and I saw the price of it, I was kind of like, yeah. So, but that's where it ends. And previews for next episode, what I saw is that Gertie's going to find out that Larsa told other people through, by the way, of Elisa. Yeah, it's going to get real spicy. So this was definitely more of a filler episode, and next episode's going to start to get spicy. I can tell. It's going to get muy caliente. It's going to become more of a chef's kiss scenario is. But anyway, that does conclude The Real Housewives of Miami. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and I will see you next time. And you know what? Y'all didn't hear this yet. Miami's hot fire. Bye. Welcome again to Melanin Nostalgia Runner channel, YouTube channel. My name is Sharon. Today, the series that I wanted to present to you all is the Train With Me series. Thinking about doing this training series, I was going to start when I started training for a race, and right now I'm actually at tail end of training for a race. I have a race coming up pretty soon. But this is actually different than any other times I've been training because I am trying to get back to where I can do the race, and it's not a pain. I did injure myself in the middle of training, and of course it was not related to training at all. I broke my toe just by stuffing it on a couch that has been in the same spot forever.